Hey, good YouTube. We still getting situated, going live in about 1 minute. So bear with us. You good?
I think.
Is that closest to you?
Well, looking from this, it is, but I don't know what it's going to sound like.
It's gonna be good. You'll be fine. That's perfect.
Can you hear yourself in it? What are you doing? We're recording. See, this is why we're talking about marriage today, people. Here, take it back. All this is live. I need you to know that. This is why we're going to be talking about marriage today. When you love each other, but you still get on each other's last nerve. I love you. All right. Here we go. Good morning, my We Are Not So Different family. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys. I want you to know that I don't take you listening in lightly. I mean, it's Saturday morning. There's plenty of stuff y'all can be doing, but you choose to take the time to spend it with me, and I appreciate y'all. I'm blowing y'all kisses. You can't see it over the radio, but y'all can see it on the video later. So, change of plans, guys. Our original guest is under the weather. Miss Tam, we pray that you are feeling better and that you will be 100% in like no time at all. We actually got a chance to pray this morning, but her voice is not in it. So that called for a quick switcheroo. So this morning, joining me on We Are Not So Different is hubby Marvin Powell,
Hi.
the man behind the move, so to say. And I know, I apologize, we talked about, speaking about depression. However, that changed too. This morning, we're going to be talking about marriage. I woke up this morning and went into my prayer closet, and I was like, Lord, what are you saying? And then he started speaking. So I started writing, and I'm like, okay, this is going to require the help of my lifetime partner. This is going to require the support of him. This is going to require his presence. So here he is this morning with us. So y'all get ready, get your favorite seat, your favorite drink, whether that's Kool-Aid or tequila, and settle in. My sincere desire this morning is that anything we say be helpful or useful to somebody, because marriage is like no joke. And I know, there's one person who used to say marriage is not for sissies. Listen, true words have not been spoken. But before we jump into that topic, I really want to start this off the same way we start off every other episode, and that is to ask you those two questions, which one is, Marvin, if you had the undivided attention of an audience of your choosing, what would you tell them?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a podcast before, so this is the first time I'm going to be on the radio, but this is not the first time that we've actually had a chance to talk. What I would like to do is I would like to go ahead and express how much that I love and appreciate my wife and what she's trying to do. And anything I can do to support that, I'm 100% in. She asked me, what would I say this to myself as a child?
That's the next one.
Mm-hmm.
If you had the undivided attention of a group of people of your choosing, what do you think you would tell them? So you can choose the audience. What would you tell them?
I think as it pertains to what we're doing today, I would try and express to them that love is a choice. And a lot of people get to thinking that it's not. They think it's a feeling.
Lies.
They
All
think
lies.
it's an overwhelming passion that just washes over you. But love is a choice. And because of that, a lot of people think you can just throw it away when the feeling is gone. There's not a good answer on what you should do when you don't feel like doing something. But because love is a choice, you choose to be with somebody and to enhance their life and to make things better. And if you stay with what you have chosen to do, you will find satisfaction in it. It's without question one of the best things you can do is to know that love is a choice and to choose to love.
And who would be the group of people that you're talking to when you're talking about the fact that love is a choice?
That is people in relationships, people who are not certain about what they want to do as far as relationships. So do you want to break up? Do you want to stay together? Do you want to get married? Do you want to stay married? This is not a question of, oh, do I just want to see that guy or that girl at the club and, spend the rest of my life with? No, love is something deeper than that. It's a choice. It's something that you putting something into instead of a feeling that washes over you. It's something that you're putting something into.
And then for the second question, if you could have a meeting with little Marvin, like let's say 5 or 6 year old Marvin, 7, whatever, what what do you think that he would need to hear? Like, all things considered, that your life is what it is now and your past experiences are what they have been. But if you could go back and talk to little Marvin, little man, what would you tell him?
I would tell him probably
Run!
two
No, I'm
things.
joking.
Probably two things.
What?
I mean, one would be that whatever you set your mind to accomplish, you're going to accomplish because you just don't give up. And part of it is just knowing that if you won't give up, you're going to succeed. Because a lot of people tend to think, okay, well, it's just not for me. But if you don't give up, you can do anything. You really can. We've had presidents that have proved that. It's what you set your mind to. And I would tell him just lay off the Snicker chips. But other than that,
The Snicker
I think
chips.
he's on it.
So we're not just gonna run past that, like, you know what I'm saying, like you just didn't say nothing. So for those of you who are listening, Snicker chips is Marvin's like copyright bachelor snack. That and bachelor child, which we are not going to enter into this morning. So basically, before me, he would take a fun sized bag of Snickers and then a bag of Lay's, and then that would be dinner. And he dubbed the name Snicker chips. The Bible did not lie when they said when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. So yes, no more Snicker chips. All right. So let's jump into this topic of marriage. And like I said before, my heart's desire really is to try to help somebody because it is so much more than what people think marriage is. I like what you said, that love is a decision. I think there's this huge misconception, and I don't know where it comes from. If it starts in the fairy tales and I don't know, does it start in the media? I don't know where it starts, but I believe that people have this huge misconception of what love is. Oh, I got butterflies in my stomach. Oh, I just feel weak. Oh, no, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. That's not love. That's another L word. Is lust okay to say on the radio? Okay, good. That's not love, that's lust. So, um, like you said, love is a decision. Because those feelings, those butterflies, baby, they will fade. Those, oh, I feel so warm and I feel a swoon, they will fade. So, what is the substance that keeps you? What is that thing that remains once those warm and fuzzies fade away? It's the decision, it's the promise that you made, it's the recognition that we're two people from two different places. We're going to change, we're going to grow, but the hope is that we grow together. So with that being said, we wanted to have the opportunity to be transparent with you guys this morning. There are a few that know because I got my prayer people I call on because I know they're gonna pray and listen. I think I have to pay them overtime because 2019 was rough. It was a really, really rough year for us. I will say, how rough, Marvin? How rough?
Change of job, changes in our relationship to each other, changes in just how people interact with us, people that call on us and need something. And how do you react with that and still keep your own self going? That was a situation where we were trying to fix the vehicle while it was in motion. And you think, oh, I'll just do this. Well, if you have the time to pull everything aside and in isolation, we can solve a problem. Yeah, but we're getting somewhere. We're doing something. And that requires us to figure out how it works while it's working and make it work when it doesn't. But that doesn't change that you're still working towards a destination and you have to get there. So it's a process.
Well, I'll say the process, early 2019 came to a screeching halt. um, I might have been ejected from the vehicle, y'all. It was really rough. Early 2019, um, Marvin came to the realization that he no longer wanted to be a part of this marriage. I don't even remember when we had the conversation. I just remember hearing the words, and I don't know how to properly describe. Well, I guess I can. You know, in the movies when they be like, my whole life flashed before my eyes. It was like one of those moments. Like I had a lifetime's worth of emotion in about 30 seconds flat. I was like, he doesn't want to be married. He doesn't want me. What am I going to tell my friends? What am I going to tell my family? Marriage is supposed to be forever. Um, I'm a praise and worship leader in the church. How is that going to look? Like, there was so many things, so many emotions. There was frustration. There was anger, raw and seething anger. Like, I put 8 years in, and I know it's not a lot to you guys. You got some people out there that's been married 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But 8 years for me, it only takes 6 years to get fully vested for 401k. So I was fully vested. And to hear that that was no longer your desire, it just I went topsy turvy. So if you could share a little bit about like what your mind frame was during that time, like what you had going on or what like your thoughts, your feelings.
Well, I always went in with the idea, and I'm not sure where I picked that idea up, somewhere in childhood. It's more along the lines of if you can't be happy with somebody, then you should just be able to leave. You can just say, you know what, if being around you makes you so unhappy, then I want to stop that situation. I'm gonna make sure, you know what, because everything I'm doing is wrong and you don't like it and you hate being here, leave. I'm never gonna raise my hand to you. It's never gonna be a situation where we have to fight it out to physically brawl because you have a role as a woman and I have a role as a man. And my role as a man is a protector, not a person that goes to assault people. And if it comes down to I have to commit violence to protect somebody, that's one thing. But you don't commit violence to somebody that you're trying to protect. It just is that way. And I would rather that I let go of something than harm it. And that's where the situation that I found myself in. It's like, you know what? Everything I'm doing is harming somebody, and I don't want that. This is the most valuable person in my life, and I'll suffer and I'll be alone rather than do damage to something that beautiful and that important. And I couldn't. I was like, I'm not going to put myself in that situation. I'm out. I'm out. I'm gonna step away.
Yeah, he hit the whole what's that SpongeBob, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna be out or whatever. But I one of the things that you said that I picked up on, you were like, I don't know where I got this idea in childhood, and I I I would very much like to know, and I'm not sure if you know, because I don't know where we got these ideas. I don't know where we got these expectations about love. And the only thing I can think of is literally like we grow up listening to the fairy tales and reading the books, and it's lies, lies, y'all. That's what I'm gonna be Like, it's lies. Stop reading those fairy tales. Stop reading those romance novels. It's lies. It's untrue. And if that is what we're basing our foundation on, our mind frame on, like, we set ourselves up for such huge disappointment. So you said that there's an idea that you had that, like, if you can't be happy with the person, then you leave. So I can't use my parents' relationship or marriage as an example, because that's a whole different subject. I saw some things, some good things, but I saw some very wrong things. So, but what I do know is that from having relationship, uh, even not just like amorous, like love kind of relationship. I'm talking about even with a friend. Um, you're not happy all the time. That's impossible. But what I also know is that if you are serious about the relationship, like even if it's like your best friend, like, you do what it takes to work it out. Cause yeah, we're gonna have arguments, and we argued a lot, y'all, a lot. Listen, y'all listeners can't see my face, but we argued a lot. And that's the thing. I think because we argued so much, there was not communication. I felt I was unheard, and I'm sure you felt you were unheard, and that it weighed upon us. And I'll say I contributed to that um, because of the abuse that I witnessed and the abuse that I took in when I was little. Growing up, I was determined, super determined, not to bring that into our marriage. So instead of me going all Black Rambo and calling you everything but a child of God, I was determined to just like not. Sometimes I would withdraw for fear that Black Rambo would surface, and that you would be called whatever kind of colorful expletive that might arise. And I know now that that's not the best thing to do either. So I'm still praying. I'm a work in progress. I don't know what the happy medium is, and I pray that God give me wisdom and strategy, because I know it's not to flash out and use verbal abuse and physical abuse. You're like almost 6 foot, and that's stupid, Andre, and got legs like an Amazon. You could like catch me if I tried to run. So it's like that's not an option either. So there has to be like a happy medium. But so that's what it was like. You were just like, I'm unhappy, she's unhappy, I should just leave.
That is what I mean. Essentially, that's what happened. I mean, you know my history, but not a lot of people do. Well, actually, I could say quite a bit more than I thought knew, because my father, my biological father, was of the opinion that if you don't like what marriage is like, get up and go start another one. I have half brothers in California, New York, Indiana, because he literally would just pick up and start a whole new family. They they literally, and over the past couple of years, I've been getting communication from them saying, "Hey, by the way, did you know that your dad is actually my dad too?" And it's like, what? Yeah, yeah, you got a way bigger family than you think you do. We knew all about each other, but we only just found you. We found you and your sister, and you know, how would you like to know about your family in Tennessee?
Uh-huh.
And how would you like to know about your family in California? And did you know in New York that, no, oh no, I didn't know any of this. This was like, okay. I knew that at one point he left and he was just gone. But it was literally the situation for him is, if I don't want to be here, I'm just going to leave. And if I don't like how marriage works, well, let me start over. I'm going to go ahead and start another family. I wasn't the first son he had,
Right.
and it wasn't his first marriage. And I can't tell you for sure. I don't think a lot of those marriages were, did he divorce before he got married to somebody else? I know he didn't in my case,
Mm-hmm.
because my mom was married to him. And this was a whole relationship that they thought they were having together. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna have a son, I have a daughter, and this is what life is supposed to be like. And then the first sign of trouble, See ya, wouldn't want to be ya. I'm out. And he was just gone. And the next time I saw him, he comes in with gifts, and I'm like, who are you?
Oh wow. So
Because
how long of like what kind of time span was that?
uh, I have pictures of me in a not even a baby carriage. It was one of those little rockers
Mm-hmm.
of my sister and him in the middle. And I don't remember that picture being taken, obviously, because I was
You're
sitting there,
an infant.
I was literally in diapers, an
Mm-hmm.
infant.
Mm-hmm.
And the next time I saw him, I think I was 6.
Oh wow. And he showed up with gifts like, "Hi guys."
Lasted less than a year, and next time I saw him, I believe I was just about to join the military.
Wow.
So it was never a case where, oh yeah, this is somebody that's in your life, this is how a relationship is supposed to be, where if you're angry and you're upset, you work through it and get to the bottom of it and you fix it and you make it stronger. It was, oh wow, that's broken. Let me see what I can do over here. And it was
Wow.
just that simple. It was never a case of, oh yeah, okay, well maybe I need to change. He wasn't changing anything on his zip code. It was,
Oh, oh
it was,
Marvin.
no, 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 no. You don't like me? Somebody else will. I'm on.
So can I ask, like, I think I know the answer, but I don't want to assume. Was that like your intention? Like you're gonna pick up and start another family?
No, I mean, that's the thing. I knew, and I don't know if you knew it, but pretty soon, pretty far on, like second date even, I knew that if I can't have you, I don't want anybody else.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say, if I can't have you, can't nobody
No, no.
have
I mean, you wouldn't walk through a garden and like, oh yeah, that's a wonderful flower, but I've got to go somewhere else. So let me stomp on this flower and keep moving. No.
you. Die, Flora, die. No.
It's like I would rather that it was still pretty. I would rather that it was still out there and it was so valuable. And it's like, that's awesome. If all I can keep is a memory, then I'm going to keep that memory. But
That sounds so sad though. So you'd rather like just be sad? Like,
I've had somebody ask me that before, and my answer was, yeah.
wow. So wow. If you were about to say something, put it, were you about to say something?
The exact question was, so what would you do if she died?
Dang.
Would you,
Why I gotta die? I can't
would
just
you,
move on.
because if you know that person, and I believe you do, then you know how that person thinks.
Okay.
And I was like, so it's like, oh, well,
Dang,
you would
why I
still
gotta
be out there hustling, right? You'd be in the game, right? I'm like, no, I found what I wanted. If I can't have it, I don't. I'm not going to go out and come up with something that's second place, second class. You know, make do. No.
So that explains some things because like so like I said, this it was a rough like what a good 7 months where whew, I would say it's probably the most difficult 7 months of my entire existence. And I'd have been through some things, y'all. But this 7 months, like from January 2019 to about July 2019, where there was just this uncertainty that was lurking over our heads. Because he said he wanted to go, but let me make some things clear. I was like, I'm staying. I'm not, and you gonna love me. Like I told him from jump, like I'm not leaving. And it's funny because I used to make this joke all the time, like, ha ha ha, if you ever left me, I'd find you. Like,
You've seen those pictures of the people that dance at the wedding, the first dance at the wedding. She whispered that in my ear,
I was serious though.
and
Like,
it
our
was,
wedding song was Forever Mine. Was that by the OJs?
yeah. And
Don't
I
you
got my
ever think
eyes
about
closed and I'm
leaving.
dancing, and I hear, "I'll find
Don't you
you."
ever think about leaving. So I was making a joke, but I was serious. Like, if I'm getting married, it's till death do us part. Emphasis on the death. So I told them from jump, I'm not leaving. I don't know what you're talking about. You can get out of here with that foolishness. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. But as that as that 7 months dragged on and it wore down my spirit, it wore down my health. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. So the year before that, I lost like 80 pounds on keto. I was looking, super fly. Still looking super fly, but I was looking super fly. Anyway, that 7 months, I ate my feelings, and that whole 80 pounds I gained right back. So when I say it weighed down on my health, it weighed down on my spirit, it weighed down on everything. I was emotionally broken. I was just in a really bad place. And he kept was like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. Like we got marriage counseling. Like it's not the first time we've done marriage counseling. We've done that multiple times. And I think that's something that every married couple should partake in as regularly as humanly possible. It shouldn't just be for times when you get in trouble. Like it should be like a normal checkup. Like you go get your yearly physical at the doctor, go get your yearly physical with the marriage counselor. Anyway, so as that time just wore on, and there is not, I'm not going to say hostility, but there was definitely tension, there was frustration, there was whatever other negative connotative word that you want to add in there. Um, so I did what I knew to do because I had been praying. And I was like, Lord, you gave me promises, and I'm standing on these promises. You said this, you said that. And he did. He gave me some, from day one, he said that he was building a testimony. And that's really what kept me around, because the first 7 years of our marriage wasn't a picnic either, but that's a different story. But that's what kept me. He was building a testimony. I said, okay, so as the months kept continuing and I wasn't seeing no change, I was like, okay, Lord. So what about separation? Can we do a separation? Yes, I did ask him. He already knew I was thinking it anyway. So I asked God, okay, what about separation? And he told me, he was like, if you leave, he will learn to survive without you. And I was like, dang, that was hardcore. But he said it as if it would be nothing. And I honestly believe that your military training would have kicked in, because I've seen you go into survival mode before, and that you would have survived. You done went back to your Snicker chips and your bachelor child. But he did. He said, if you leave him, he will learn to survive without you. I said, okay, well, what about divorce then, Lord? What about divorce? He doesn't want me. And he said, consider the bigger picture. He said, destinies are entangled in your union. So basically, get over yourself. Stop being selfish. But when he did that, it was a jarring moment, because I didn't take the time to think about any other person that could or possibly be affected by our union. I didn't think about the people who are watching, or the people who um, are in worse positions than us. I didn't think about any of that. And he said destinies as in plural. And then he said entangled, like interwoven. And I imagine Christmas tree lights. You know how there's this huge bundle. You spend hours and hours trying to untangle each light in each string. So destinies are entangled in our union. And that caused me to sit back a bit. I'm like, okay, so it's not just about me. But I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. All I know is that he don't want me, and it doesn't feel good. So I think, to be honest with you, I'm not sure of the time where it switched. When did the light switch pop, or when did the light come on? Like what turned it around for you?
That we have things that we have to do. And yet another failure in a relationship is literally the end of our society. That the fact that we can't hold things together in a simple relationship, which is I love her, she loves me, and we still can't be around each other. What does that say for the entire world when you can't be with somebody that you love? Why do anything at all? Why would you?
It sounds really dark.
It is, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a understanding that, is this worth it? Is it worth it to? And it's something that I had to come to myself, and it's literally something that I had to come to without any help from anything in my past. There's no point in my past where there's a man that stepped forward and said, I'm here, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to stay here.
Mm.
And I have to be something that's completely new and different, which is somebody that's so committed that whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. And I can make a commitment like that. That's why 4 years in the military is fine. And I can do that. And if I say I'm going to do something, that's just it. I'm just going to do it. And I'm steadfast and I'm forward. And she knows about it. I've always referred to it as Mount Stupid.
Oh gosh.
I will get on top of Mount Stupid. I will plant my flag, and you will find me there as the hermit on
Lord.
Mount Stupid until the world comes at my feet and says, okay, fine, we give in.
Y'all pray for us. Pray for us.
And I've asked her over this lifetime. I've asked her. I said, "Okay, so come with me on Mount Stupid. Work with me here. I mean, this is where I'm gonna plant my flag. This
We're
is
not
where
doing
we're gonna
that.
go." And she's like,
No.
"No, it's stupid.
It is.
I'm not climbing Mount Stupid with you. If you're going the wrong way, I'm gonna change your direction."
I'll be here when you get back. That's what I say.
And that is where I've come to an understanding. And I can tell you this as an absolute truth. When I want to do something, I will just do it and I will not let anything stand in the way. And I've come to discover that there is only one force in this universe that will change my mind once I've decided on something. And she's sitting next to me right now.
Shocker.
So, I mean, you've seen it. You've seen, I was like, I'm not going to that party. I'm not going to show up. And people's like, well, I'll come get you. Nope. Forget it. I've got my spot on the mountain. I got my climbing gear on. See you when I see you.
Somebody hide the climbing gear, please.
And then you hear, come back. I need you. Okay. I'll do it.
So what can we do to get rid of Mount Stupid? That's what I that's what I need to know. I'm sorry, no, we're not gonna do that. I do want to talk about
Well, let's rename the mountain. Let's build a
what's the name of the mountain?
we could build a nice little home there.
No, we not. Is it still associated with stupid?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm not doing that. So you said that you had never had someone, a man, that modeled that before you, that I am not going anywhere and I'm staying.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think that, I guess, translated into what we went through in early 2019?
That translated into me doing something that I just don't do. And I've always felt that I can adapt, but I won't change. And fundamentally who I am is me. If it's lonely, if it's not lonely, if it's willing to sit in a room full of people and stare at them without having a single conversation, I can do that because you know what? I don't have to be in an interaction with you. I don't. I mean, if I pass you on the street and you never knew who I was, that's fine. Nope, I'm good. But I want to reach out to somebody and I want to have somebody reach out to me. And I found somebody that would be willing to reach out to me, as difficult as it is. And what does it take to communicate with somebody who's willing to climb Mount Stupid? It takes a level of determination to say, you know what? I'm gonna keep calling him. I'll find you. And it's like, you know
I
what?
will find you.
Okay, well, maybe I need to stop saying I'm just gonna leave.
Woo.
Maybe I need to stop thinking that that's the only thing I have to do is just get up on Mount Stupid or
Hallelujah.
follow the whole path that it was laid out before me. You know, Dad was just pick up and go. Well, there is not really a pick up and go to build something. I'm not a nomad. I'm not somebody that can just wander the desert alone. And that means I'm going to have to change the way I look at my relationships. And that means I need to be somebody that let her grow rather than let her go.
Ooh.
And
I
that
felt
is
that in my shondo. Say it again.
let her grow rather than let her go. And I love what you were from the very first moment that I saw you. And letting you grow has grown to be something so much more. It's like watching one perfect flower become an entire bouquet. And watching everybody look at that, and it's like, that's amazing. That's astounding. I love that. And if all I did was just say, okay, I was there. I was there when it was just one flower.
Now stop. You are more than there. Um, so you let her grow instead of let her go. That's great. But I think at a point, like, there has to come to, because you said that you were going to be adamant about not changing. And I think that goes back to this misconception that a lot of people have about marriage. Like, you know how they'll talk about, girl, you can't change them and people don't change and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, one thing about it is, yeah, you can't change them, but the whole people don't change, that's a lie from the pit of hell. People change. You're expected to change. You're expected to grow. But the point that we have to do is learn how to navigate that thing together, to learn how to grow together. Okay, I see he shifted in this area. How can I then shift so that way I can still stay in tune? So the process of letting me grow, how has that shifted you? Like you're, and I can't say it enough. Like when I say the man behind the move, I'm not saying that in, I'm not taking that lightly. Like he literally will push me to do what I thought I couldn't do in just about any area. And he will stand there and he will support me and he will, so me growing has to have stretched you. Like you have to have grown throughout this situation or else you would have been out. So how is that, how has the growth that you've seen, how has that impacted you?
That means that I've had to have so much more confidence in my own judgment because I was always of the opinion that, you know what, I could be wrong. I mean, this maybe was a mistake. I didn't make a mistake when I decided to come sit at the table that you were sitting at and having a meal. Was okay, should I just go home? Because, my birthday is tomorrow. I don't want to go and, maybe I'll just, it's been a long day and I'm just back and everything. But that's something that said, sit down at that table, say hello, strike up a conversation. I wasn't the best at it. I guarantee you I was not the best at making any conversation at all. But it was a question of, is this worth it? And it's been worth it every step of the way. Every time she's asked me to do something where I had dug in my heels and I had already decided, you know what? I think I'll wear those hiking boots up my little mountain. Has always been a situation where I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I didn't make that trip this time. Maybe next time, but this time it was actually the right decision. And then I've had to trust that she's my own personal new Sherpa now, and the Sherpa won't climb the mountain because she sees so many other horizons that
What's
she
a
wants to go
Sherpa?
to.
I'm sorry.
When people want to climb,
Like a
the
goat?
highest, no,
Oh,
they're
like,
guides. Sherpas are guides. They're
okay.
people who have
Tell
been,
me.
and if you see people want to
Don't
climb the
compare me to a
tallest
pack
mountain in the
animal.
world,
Mm-hmm.
they go and they say, well, who's been there before? Who's made that trip before? And these are people, they're called Sherpa.
Okay. I'm just making sure. That's all. Carry on.
They've lived there, they're accustomed to the atmosphere and how things go, and they are the perfect guide because they know, don't step there, you'll fall through. Walk here, don't walk there, don't touch that. This is going to be a problem later on tonight, as opposed to, oh no, it'll be fine, I'll set up camp here. No, you won't, because in the morning you'll be dead if you do that. This is somebody who just knows the way.
I don't think I'm your Sherpa because I'm not going up Mount Stupid.
You are an adventurer, and at your heart, you are already in motion. I could tell you right now, if I had to guess, you've already decided where you want to go next year.
This year? What you talking about?
See, that's the thing.
Like,
I I'm more of a builder. I know what I'm going to build. I know what I'm going to stay with. I mean, I used to be a welder. I could build stuff that's just so solid, and I've bragged about it. And a lot of the things that I built, even the parts that aren't supposed to come off or are supposed to come off, they take a lot of work to get those parts to fall off, because when I build it solid. I just knew this is going to stand forever. And that means it's going to be here, and I'm going to be here right next to it, and I'm going to be with it. And you have been, let's go. Let's see what's over that horizon. Let's go this way. Let's go that way. And I'm like, here's good. It's great. And I've had people ask me, and I've described it. It's like I'm a very good string. I'm anchored here, and that balloon that is getting caught in the breeze and just literally just going out everywhere, that's her. And it's great because she gets to see so much more than I do, but I'm going to keep her anchored to the ground so she's not getting lost. I'm her protective anchor. Well, the string doesn't go a lot of places, does it?
But I want you to come with me. Like, come with me.
But that's the understanding that I've had to learn. Is like, I don't have to be anchored to the ground. I can go along with you on this trip, on this journey, as you go to find things and do things. And I just need somebody that can see the way. I need my own personal Sherpa, and that's you.
That's not me. I don't want to be that for you. I want God to be that for you. I don't. I can't tell you how to lead like you're the head of the household. Like, I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't want to be that for you. Can I say that? Is that okay for me to say? I don't want to be that. I don't want to be your Sherpa. I want God to be your Sherpa. Okay.
He's my anchor.
Okay. So he's your anchor, and then you're my anchor, the one, so that way my balloon can go. But if you're okay, okay. I was about to go somewhere down a rabbit hole. Y'all excuse me. So I want to hear a bit about, like, because you said that you didn't have a guy that um showed you or illustrated, that you were supposed to stay. But there was a man in your life, the one that you actually refer to affectionately.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your relationship with him.
He was a solid man. He was literally he was a tall man. And I got used to the understanding that I'm going to look up to him. And to the point where when I bought my first car, the first thing I did with it was I brought it home to show my mom, and she said, show him. And it's like, yeah. And I was happy when I showed my mom, but I was proud when he said, you made a good deal. Because it was his judgment that I wanted. I wanted to say, okay, I get it. I understand now. That I can do this now. And it was, I'm not going to go in there with you. I'm not going to hold your hand. You're going to go in there and you're going to do this. And then when I came back with the results of that, and he was like, you did good. That was by far the biggest compliment that I'd ever gotten in life. And the only thing that ever matched it up to that point was my mom. She once described me. She was talking to somebody else, and she was describing me, and she just offhandedly said, oh yeah, that's my son. And this just wave of pride just rolled off of me because I respected her so much. And it's like, that's just a statement.
Yeah.
But it's so much more for me. It's like she's claimed ownership because she's like, I love him enough that I want to present him to the world. This is mine. This is what I've done. This is my son. And it's like, that's why it means so much more to me when I read it in the Bible and it says, when John the Baptist baptized Jesus, and the voice from heaven said, this is my son in whom I'm well pleased. That's what I was hearing. So I understood that to be, this is someone that I'm well pleased in. And that was a proud moment. And the next proud moment was, yeah, you did good. And it was like, oh, okay. I wanted to hear that. And I didn't even realize how much I valued that until I hear it.
So this guy, this was your mom's, like, what do you want to call it?
This was, I refer to him as a stepdad, but they weren't married. In fact, he was married to somebody else. which is part of the reason why, when I say I don't know what a full commitment was like growing up, because his commitment was to his wife, but he wasn't honoring that commitment because he was with my mom. So is that what it is to be a guy? Is that what it is to be a man? Do you just say, okay, I can be in this relationship or go to that relationship? Or is it like I've seen with my dad, which is, maybe 6 years I'll stop by and see you again.
Mhm.
And after that, maybe another 10 years later, I'll see if he's still alive. And it's like, so what do you have as an anchor to what it is to be a man? And in him, I got, when you commit, do everything you can for that person and stay by that person. But that's something that was said, but not necessarily demonstrated, in that he had an
Okay.
entire family.
Yeah. So it's like, do as I say, not as I say.
Right. Do as I say,
thing.
but not as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you build a life on that? It's like, okay, so I'm going to do as you say, but even you can't do it.
Right.
So,
ugh,
how difficult is it that if you can't do it and I respect you, how am I supposed to expect that I can do it?
right.
And that's when you have to develop the confidence in yourself to say, okay, I am enough. I can do this. And that's the change that I've had to make in growing up, is like, okay, I can do this. And I used to think that means I'm good all by myself. And it's not. It's more of, I can build something good together with someone. And going out and being in a relationship isn't finding somebody that fixes everything that's wrong with you. It's somebody that you want to be with forever. Because nobody wants a broken person. If this person is so broken that they need you to stay together, do you really want to be with somebody that's just flat out broken?
I think we're all broken in some way, shape, or form.
That's true. But what's better is if you find somebody that's willing to fix, somebody that's willing to accept, and somebody that's willing to say, this, even broken, is worth keeping. And that's something that I've had to come to in my own life. And it's not like something that ever came out of my past.
Right. I think that it has done us both a lot of good and a lot of not so good to learn and glean from certain things in our past as it pertains to relationships that our parents modeled before us. But what I do know is somewhere around July, something clicked. Probably late July. But we went from I don't know if I want to be in this marriage anymore to okay, let's get it together. So I think we can, not I think, I know that now with confidence because I asked him recently. So we've gone from a whole, um, what about divorce to okay, let's start this thing off with divorce is no longer an option. So where do we go from here? Um, because as bad as it was before, I can't see how separating or divorcing would make it any better. So, now that we are on this thing where it's like, okay, divorce is no longer an option, it's like we have turned from fighting each other to fighting for each other. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Um, because it's really difficult to build anything if you're not sure that the partner that you are building with is following the same blueprint, if they even want to be there, if they, it's difficult. Everything, like, I can't say this enough. Like, I really felt like my world stopped Like I could not function properly. In every aspect of my life was affected because I was unsure. The unsurety of the situation was really crippling. It was bad. But I think that now we're in a better place than ever. I'm really excited about all the things that are going on, like in life and with you and with us. And I'm looking forward to those promises. That's what kept me throughout this whole thing. He promised me some things, and I know that he don't lie, and I know that he's a promise keeper. So I'm here for it. So if he has promised you anything, anyone who is having any problems in their relationship, whatever the issue may be, I encourage you, if you're a praying person, if not, get you around some people who is praying and seek God about the matter because he's gonna give it to you straight. Like I really did. Yes, I really did ask him about separation. Yes, I really did know what the Bible said about divorce, but I asked him about it anyway. I mean, I was thinking it, so might as well. So now that we are on the flip side, and I think that's why we celebrated like this eighth anniversary. So we celebrated so hard because it was like we had just come out of a place, y'all. So we celebrated so hard. What are you looking forward to? Can I ask?
It's the excitement of the build. I look forward to the day that my children run into my arms and the day that I come home and everybody is just happy to see me there because this is what home is. And I love to finish things, to build things, and to make things that are solid. And this is now that opportunity. I have the right person, I have the right place, I have the right spot in faith to, okay, now watch me grow. And it's it's exciting now knowing that this moment is what we've been building towards. And whether we knew it or not, it's like, all that determination back when it was in the military, when it was like, you just have to keep running. It doesn't matter how fast you're going, it just means that you have to keep running because it was trying to build something in yourself, which is, I won't quit. I'm just going to make it happen. It's going to happen. And now you can start seeing that in now learning to teach somebody else that not quitting, not just giving up, to make that decision and to choose to not stop has a benefit. And it's so powerful and it's exciting to see what happens when you just choose to not stop.
Yeah, like I think because sometimes things can look so like bleak, and sometimes experiences are so rough, you think, man, it'll just be easier. Like there's a quick way to stop the pain, and that's just to sever ties. But I believe that's an untruth, especially when, like, we don't have children involved yet, but we have a promise of children. So if destinies are entangled in our union, that means it's not when you cut something off, you're not just cutting me off. I'm not just cutting you off. We're cutting off every destiny that is associated with our union, every blessing that is associated with our union, every promise. And that's on us. Like that's on us. So yeah, needless to say, I'm glad that he chose to stay because I'd find you. I used to make jokes like if we ever did, get separated or whatever, and you found yourself another young lady, yes, that is me hiding in the bushes. Yes, you did hear a sound. Yes, I do want you to be afraid, and I want her to be afraid too. But now that we know that that's no longer an option, it's, just all jokes. So for the last few minutes of this thing, I want to go over some of the false expectations. Because if I can help anybody considering marriage, listen, I hope that you're praying. And if you're not, I hope that you have some other kind of support system because I am a woman of faith. I believe in God and I stand on his promises. We we both pray. So it's like, and it's hard. It's hard with Jesus. How is y'all out here in these streets doing it without him? I will never know. And I pray that I will never have to experience that. But yeah, it's hard with Jesus. So without him, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't know what I can say to encourage you to do your homework. First of all, first and foremost, pray about that spouse or that future spouse that you're dealing with. Because we did premarital counseling. And the minister that did our premarital counseling, I think he was very thorough. He made us pull credit reports. So we had to know all of each other's mess, and I had a whole bunch of it. Um, we talked about sex. We talked about tendencies and inclinations. We talked about past experiences. We talked about preferences. I mean, he got down and dirty with the sex to the point where it was like almost uncomfortable. But why should we be uncomfortable? We gonna be, this is what we dealing with for the rest of our life. So get in tune. We talked about how we grew up, our upbringing. We did a lot of work. Like there's even a workbook. Like we did work. But in my opinion, it wasn't good enough. I don't know if you feel that way. Like I don't think there's anything that could ever prepare you for the magnitude of the things that are entailed in marriage. Like some things you just don't know until you encounter them. Like, what are your thoughts about?
Uh, Honestly, going back, it's like, okay, well, I know what love is. Well, you know what the feeling is, but do you know what love is? Love is when you can look at somebody and they are at their worst day. They in rough shape. There's no makeup. There's no attractive clothing. There's no, okay, this is me. I've had a cold. I am sick. I am looking like who did it and why. And
Dang,
it's
okay,
like,
we get it, Marvin. I
and
look
you
jacked
literally look
up.
at them and
We
say,
get
I would
it.
still rather be here. Let me help you. Let me fix that. And just like, well, you're going to get sick. Well, then we just going to be sick together.
Aw,
And you know right now, what have I always said? We're set.
we are set.
We're set. That's just how it is. You going to come at her, then you coming at me too. It's too bad if you don't know it, because we are set. That's
We are
just
set.
how it is.
So ask questions, guys. Ask questions. Talk some more, and then talk some more. Dig deep. Consider conflict resolution. How do you and your mate argue? How do you and your mate process through difficult stuff? Grief, anger, frustration, loss. Like any possible subject that you could potentially broach with your potential mate before saying that do it, and then do it again, and then do it again to see if they're being consistent. But even I think even with the most rigorous program and or curriculum as it pertains to premarital counseling, there are some things that you simply cannot prepare for until you're in the thick of it. And as it pertains to preconceived notions and false expectations, guys, put them in the trash, but don't just leave them in the trash. Then take them to the fire pit and set them on fire and do dances around the fire as they burn in flames, because it's unhealthy, it's unrealistic, and you set yourself up for disappointment.
I'm sorry to say you got lied to if you think that like every one of these romantic comedies that come out and it's like, oh, well, they fight, but then when they realize they love each other, it's all fixed and it's all good. No, because the day after that, you're going to fight again.
Right.
The subject's going to change, but you have to learn in yourself, okay, she and I are going to fight, but we have to learn first, we're going to fight fair. I'm not going to put you in a situation where you have to pull your biggest gun every single time and just say, you know what? You didn't like the way I cooked that meal, but let me tell you about your mother.
Oh,
Okay?
wait a minute now.
Wait now. This is
Hold on.
don't come out with the biggest gun.
Right.
Realize, you know
Yo,
what?
mama. Dang.
If you don't like the way I cooked this meal, well, no, I didn't. But you cook meals that I love. Why can't we have that? Why can't we do this more often? Why can't we do that more often?
You don't like
And
it, don't
becomes
eat
that's true.
it.
But bear in mind, you spent the resources. and the time and the effort. Taste the meal. And
Oh, I'm gonna remember that next time I cook some quinoa. Taste the meal, Marvin. That's what I'm gonna say. Taste.
I've also said buy my chairs.
And I do buy your chairs often.
That's from the movie Phenomenon with John Travolta in it.
I'm gonna cook some quinoa, y'all. He gonna taste this.
And the question was, she makes the most rickety, ugly, mismatched, misshapen chairs, and nobody wants to buy them because they're going to collapse under you. Why would you buy that? It's like, because that's what she loves. That's what she does.
Quinoa,
buy them. If you love them, if you love her,
asparagus,
then you love what she does.
Brussels sprout.
Buy her chairs.
Buy my chairs, Marvin.
Then you
buy my vegetable chairs.
Then you buy my chairs.
Buy my vegetable chairs.
And I want to go out there and I want to get on the radio. And
you see how he...
I want to get out there and I want to make the world listen and all that. It's like, I would like to be in the quiet library reading the book.
Whatever.
Let's get on camera too.
We're gonna wrap this up now because I see this conversation is headed somewhere far left. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Marvin Powell with We Are Not So Different with my husband Marvin Powell. And I pray that this has been helpful in some way, shape, or form. Listen, marriage is not something to be trifled with. Enter at your own risk, but get surrounded by a support system. You got to be able to talk. You got to be able to be vulnerable. You got to let somebody know something is wrong. Someone out there has experienced, someone out there has gone before you and done it before you and done it well. So you can, use your resources to get the help that you need.
Yeah, think of it more like a school.
And until next time, that's it. That's it. All right. Yes. Love you guys. We'll see you next time on We Are Not So Different. Is that a wrap?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, YouTube, show me a picture, sir. Because at the beginning that was rude, but I don't understand his reasoning why he wanted to do this on the show. So
when I said buy my chairs, she wanted to go out and take nice long walks. I don't like winter. I don't like snow. And she's like, let's go for a walk. And I said, I don't want to. Come on, let's go. I was like, if you make me do this, I'm going to paint a picture of you out here in this snow, wandering around in the wilderness by yourself.
I can't even see it. That's a bad...
maybe as an angle so you can see it. But this is literally her walking on a trail after a snowstorm. When everybody else wanted to be inside, she wanted to be outside experiencing the world. And you'll notice there's a lot of footsteps between her and me when I took a picture of it. But she just would keep walking. I was like, okay, I'm going to paint that picture. And I want you to understand it's mostly white. It's white and then there's gray and snow.
I'm not sure of the whole concept behind that, but yeah, buy chairs. So anyway, thank you for joining us. Sorry. Thank you for joining us, YouTube. We'll see you next time. We Are Not So Different.